Hey everyone. Okay, following to my last session, today we are going to see on Tableau Desktop Specialist, Session-02. I don't have any topics prepared, but I'm going to go through the syllabus and let us try to cover each and every topic. And I'm going to share my knowledge, whatever I have on this Tableau per se. Okay, so the plan is I'm going to go through all the topics here. Okay, I'm going to show all the functionalities in Tableau at the high level because this is a desktop specialist exam. And then there will be another one session on visual analytics, best practices. This will really help in your real-time projects as well. How to choose the visualization, what are all the steps, what are all the difficulties you go through after choosing, and how to flip the visualization, etc. Okay, so let me start. Okay, connecting and preparing data. Okay, nice. Okay, so whenever we are building the BA, right, the first step is our data. Okay, in our typical business intelligence projects or the reporting projects, we will be having the data spread across different places. It can be a database, it can be a flat file, it can be in NoSQL DB, right? NoSQL DB, or it can be a web connector, right? Or it can be from API, etc. Okay, disparate data sources, and it all come into uh, your data lake. Okay, it all come into a data lake. Okay, it can be brought in using big data, Hadoop technology, or Informatica, ETL concepts, etc. So it all come into data warehouse. Okay, in data warehouse again, here there will be SCDs. Right, once you bring in, it can be a star schema, snowflake schema, galaxy schema, universal schema, etc. Right, it comprises of fact tables and the dimension tables, all relevant to data warehousing. And then we can expose, this is again an API, right? Or it can be exposed using the virtual database layer, right? Or it can be leveraged from for business intelligence or reporting. Okay, so Tableau is one of the business intelligence tool, right? So bringing the data. Okay, so mostly in a production project where we handle with the lakhs, billion, trillions of records of data, we try to offload all the complex calculation. Basically, we leverage the power of the um, computation from the data source itself. Let's say if we have a read, right, we will try to put all the complex calculations, joins, blending, etc. in the data source. Okay. So let's say if we have a limitation on the source side, I do have in Tableau in order to prepare the data which suits for my data reporting or for my analysis. Okay. So one is we need to consider on what are all the tables, what are all the schemas, how we are going to join, whether it's going to be a single source or multiple sources. Once you bring in the data, are we going to do the join or union or blending, right? And then how the table structure is, okay, whether it's in the pivot format or in the flat file or a hierarchical table, etc. Right? Parent-child relationship, or it's a geospatial data or graphical data. Okay, there are n number of types. Okay, so using Tableau functionality, how we can attain the max. Okay, so that's what we're going to discuss. So number one, connecting to and preparing data. Okay, create and save data connections. Okay, create and save data connections. Okay, fine. And that one first topic is creating a live source. So how to create a live connection? Okay, let me open. Okay, I'm connecting to one of my data source, which is in the Excel format. Okay, so this is one way of connecting. Okay, now I'm just pulling one of the sheet out of this data. Currently, it is in the live connection. Okay, whatever changes are happening in my data source, it immediately reflects here. When it comes to the product, you have lots of data. Let's say you have Hive table and a Impala table and a Kudu table. Okay, when you are connecting to Kudu or Impala, the live connection, it's okay. But when you connect to Hive, each and every time it is going to run the MR code or Spark mode or the test mode in the backend, right? It will submit the job and it returns the result. It comes back. It is going to take a lot of time. Okay, this live connection will not make any sense, right? So live connection is good for a small data, or let's say if you are connecting to SAP HANA or any in-memory database or database, okay, is efficient in your source. Whatever query the Tableau is going to hit to your source, the computation will be faster in your source, so the live connection is good. Okay, so how to create the live connection? So this is the step. Okay. Explain the differences between the live versus extract. Okay, so before going into the difference, we want to know how to create the extract. There are two ways. One is go to data source and click here extract, right, and come back. It will ask you for the location where it can store. Okay, I'm just storing it here. Okay, so this is one way of creating, and another way is you can right click, you can remove the extract, and again right click, create extract. It pop-ups a set of options, whether it's going to be a single table, multiple table. You can add the source filter, you can create the cubes, and then here it's for the incremental refresh based on the fields, and whether you want to extract the whole data or top n number of records or sample how many records, etc. And then if you want to hide all the unused fields, you can hide it and create the extract. Now it's creating the extract. If you want to see more properties on the extract, or right click, go to the extract and to the properties. It will be where it has stored, etc. Okay, now let's talk about what is the difference between live connection and connection we have talked about. And when it comes to extract, okay, so extract means in general, let's say you have a line. If you are taking the extract out of line, you're just taking the essence, right? So similarly, when you are pulling the data, okay, so based on your visualization and based on the properties you have defined, Tableau will extract the data from the source and it creates a flat format, which is Tableau understandable format, and it improves the performance. Okay, but one thing which we have to consider while creating the extract, right? Let's say your source has billions of records. There is no point in creating the extract, and especially in the big data environment, then it means you are not again creating your environment extract. Right? So it won't make any sense. So in that case, you have to go ahead with some in-memory databases. Okay, extract is something optimal for the optimal number of records, and it works faster. In the older version, it is called as TDE files. The newer version, it is called as hyper files. Okay, and the extract cannot be opened and seen inside how it looks like. If you need more details in the upcoming sessions, I will cover what really the extract stores, what it is format, parallel querying, more of backend stuff. We will cover it later. Okay. As of now, I have one quick material from Tableau. Here it talks about what are all the reasons, right? Supports large data set. Okay. It says billions of record, but it takes the whole day to create this extract. Sometime the system will fail. We have to go to the server. We have to increase the timeout, etc. But I would recommend go till some millions, but billion we have to reconsider it in Tableau. And fast to create. Yes, it creates faster for billions of record, and then helps to improve the performance. Yeah, definitely compared to live connection, since Tableau is flattening the star Snowflake schema and putting in the Tableau understandable format, so it will be faster. And then another one is if you are going for the calculation or table calculation or creating the calculated field, let's say split function, okay, which is one of the string manipulation function. You go to the split function. It has got a lot of limitations. Okay, that function will work in the live connection for most of the databases, but not for all. But when you create the Tableau extract, all the calculations in the calculated field will be supporting for the extracts. Okay, that's what they are talking about, the additional functionalities. Provides offline access. So obviously, in the real time, right, whenever if there is no high availability, no load balancing in the source, let's say if one of the database server is undergoing the maintenance, and another side a Tableau development is going on, you can simply create the extract, and we need not to rely on the source when it is under maintenance. Right? You can just create a one-time extract for the day, and we can point our dashboard to the extract. So it's a hassle-free. I'm trying to correlate with the real-time examples. I hope that will really help you a lot. Okay. I'm going back here. So create an extract we have already seen. Next one is save metadata properties in a .tds file. Okay. What does it mean by metadata? So when you go back here, so this is called as metadata pane. Right. So here it shows what is the remote field name, what is the field name here, and what is the table name, etc. And I go to the data pane here. Here it will show all the source fields, plus we will be creating the calculated field on top of the source field. It can be using a load expression, table calculations, etc. And then you click on this properties. It is going to show all my source information. Okay. And plus the connection details. When I go here and click on the edit connection, since I connected to Excel, it is showing how it is being connected to the Excel. If it is database, it is going to show all the ODBC or JDBC information. Okay, so all these things get stored in a file called TDS. So how to create it? Go to the sheet, go to file. I'm sorry. Right click on the data. Here you have add to save the data source. Okay, so here you can save it as .tds file. Okay, so in short, TDS file will store all the metadata information plus connection details plus calculated field. It won't store the data. It won't store the visualization. In short. Okay, so we have covered all the topics under creating and save data connection. Okay, so here they didn't talk about .tdsx, which is another one. The basic difference between TDS and TDSS is TDS stores source information, calculated field, stores the data as well. The data can be image or a hyper or the actual flat file, etc. You store the visualization. If you want visualization on top of this, then we have to go to TWBX. Okay. The next one we are going to talk about join, blend, and union. Okay, one of the uh, good good topic. Join. Okay, join means, let's say you have two tables and you want to join at the row level. Okay, it can be left join, right join, or outer join, inner join, or Cartesian product, etc. So we all know about joins, right? So how to do it in Tableau? So am I saying this is one table, one sheet is, and another one is this table. When I bring it here, Tableau recommends these are all the different types of join, and here you can all the fields. And one of the here I can create the join condition. Let's say in table 1 you have one column where all the characters are in the uppercase. Okay. In table 2, the same column, it's all in the lowercase. To trim that field, plus I have to bring it to lower or upper, and I have to manage both the cases in the same format so that I can join some. So that is one side. Another side, sometimes, let's say in the left hand side you have a Teradata. In the right hand side table, uh, you are bringing from the same Teradata a different schema, and this function. In that case, I can use support. Um, Go to union. Okay. So when it comes to union, let's say if I'm bringing it here, when I drag it underneath the existing table, it prompts drag table to union. Okay. So union, as we all know, one of the condition with the union is both the table, the number of columns has to match. Let's say if it is not matching, what to do? We can go ahead with the custom SQL. Okay, we have to connect this Excel using the legacy connection. Go ahead with the custom SQL. In that SQL, we can make the column names and all the columns. And here again, you are having edit union. We want to union it manually. And here you have wild. Here we have a set of additional properties. Then generate field names automatically. Generate field name automatically means to consider the first row or the second row as the column heading or not. And you can leverage this function, data interpreter function. And this Excel, okay, or the flat file for all. And here it says what it has considered as the header and why. Just keep loading. So applying. So this is the index document. Okay, it talks about how they have explained. This is more of information. And let's say in order, it has considered this red color as the header and green color as the actual values. So this is the header, and these are all the data. Okay, that's what here it's saying. So one of the good future they have given for the Excel. Okay, let's go to the blending. Okay, so when it comes to the join, there is one more join called cross-DB join, and the next one is blending. Okay, so let me talk about the cross-DB join. Cross-DB join in the first screen itself. Here you have an option. So here you can do the cross-DB join. So this is data source 1, this is data source 2. Here you can do the cross DB join. How to do the blending? So when it comes to the blending, right? Um, it is keep loading. Okay, so here you have brought in the data from different data sources, but within Tableau it is acting as the same data source. So we brought in data source 1, data source 2. We selected one schema from data source 1, another schema from data source 2, and we randomly chosen one table from data source 1, another table from data source 2. But here it is considering it as a single data source. When it comes to the data blending, it considered as a different data source. So for example, here again I'm bringing some. Right? And let me go inside. Here you see we have two databases. Okay, so when you do the blending, when you go to the data, right, when you go to edit relationship, here I can define all the relationship. For example, this is what the relationship I'm defining by considering my sheet 1 from population as the primary source and global superstore orders as a secondary data source. When I define the relation, okay, let me take a good example. Let me close all this. Let me go back here. Remove this. Remove this. We try to keep this as a live connection because every time it is keep on creating the extract, which is annoying. Remove, bring order. Let me add a new data source. Excel. Let me add the same data source as a new data source just for an example. Let me go here. This data source, I'm again bringing the order. Okay, and this I rename it as data source 1. I'm renaming it as data source 2. Data source 1 data create relationship custom and go off and then add. Here I am saying order ID from the primary data source. Order ID. And just run OK. And here I'm bringing the order ID. Go to the secondary data source. This will automatically enable the link between data source 1 and data source 2. From here I can bring in the secondary, right? Okay, so this is the basic functionality, but it is a little confusing. We have join, okay, we have union, okay, so both are for different purpose, so there is no confusion. So we have cross DB join and we have data blending. When we have cross DB join, why we need data blending, right? It's a good question. Okay. But I have covered in another one video, but quickly let me go ahead and show difference, right? Okay, so this is for blending and this is for cross DB join. Okay, so when you take blending, what it says, it queries the primary source and it queries the secondary source, plus aggregates the secondary source based on the primary source within the, and it just combines the results in the Tableau site. When it comes to the cross DB join, it queries primary, it queries secondary, it brings whole result into Tableau, and it does the aggregation. In the critical statement may be a little confusing. In the future sessions, I will show a demo on differentiation of join. But as of now, when to use blending, when to use join. Whenever you are bringing a mapping table, let's say USA, and you want to show United States of America, this is just a mapping. And in that case, you can go ahead and use the join. Or you want to convert two different database, or two, you want to combine both the table in it, and you want to publish it as a you can use cross DB. Whenever the calculation is going to be heavy, the table level calculation, the manipulation, or quick calculation, or you are going to live with the calculated field, or filters are being really used, you have to go with the blending. Okay. If you are not able to achieve using union, cross DB join, or cross join, or blending, you have to rely on your source. You have to go ahead with the creating materials to view, etc. Okay. Okay. Let me go back to the topics. Okay. So this is about join, blending, union. Okay. Third one is data properties. Right. Okay. So when it comes to data properties, let us go screen by screen. Okay. In this screen, I have got two icons. One icon is in the column headers and the actual field values, right? And another option here, it's more of what is the table name, what are the different fields I have, and what is the remote field, etc. Okay, and I can sort this by A to Z, Z to A, etc. And here I have got another option, show hidden fields. Okay, show alias. Let me expand the screen, show alias, show hidden field, etc. And here I can increase or decrease the number of values. Okay. Okay. So let's see what are all the options I have. Here I have a sorting option. I can sort it, and here it shows the data type. Right. Currently it's a string. I can convert into Boolean, date time, number whole, number decimal, etc. Or I can assign a geographical role. It can be state, country, etc. So here I already have a geographical role assigned. Here it says country or region, right? And then when you click here, here we have rename option. I can rename this field. I can copy values, and I can hide this field if I'm not going to use, and aliases, right? So instead of furniture, wherever it's furniture, if you want to show F, for example, F, and office supply, OS, technology, T. Okay. So these are all the categorical values. It means it won't change often. So I can define the mapping here itself. If these values are going to be dynamic, there's no point talking about this aliases. You can create calculated field. I can create a calculated field out of this existing field. We will talk in detail about calculated field in the upcoming sessions, and create groups, how to create the groups by combining, let's say, furniture and office supply belongs to category A and technology belongs to category B. So I can group it here itself. And then split. Let's say this is one of the good example. So let's say if you want to split based on the hyphen or based on whatever icon you want, and which field you want, so that you can use it here. And when it comes to the splitter, etc., right? Actually, what it does is, let's say if I'm giving this value and I'm clicking on split. Okay, so here is the field. Somehow it's not moving. So here is the field, it has split in. But if you go here, and if you describe here, it has actually created the calculated field. Okay, and it has used the split function. Okay, that's all. And one of my favorite feature here is this in describe. Okay, so this gives all the profiling details. For example, it says what is the role. This is a dimension. In dimension or measure, we used to have discrete and continuous, right? Here it says discrete dimension, and the type, this is a database column, and remote column name, this is the table name, and this is the column name. And what is the type? Okay, whether it contains null. Okay, if it is able to predict, or if it is able to run the profiling on the column, and it can tell whether it has null values or not. As of now, it don't have the null value. If it does not have the null value, or it does not have, but whenever it is showing unknown, it is better to go and check it manually or using some other profiling tool. And next one is what is the language? It's in English, and it is case insensitive. And then column width, it's not required. It's more of visualization part. When it comes to metadata, let's say column width is how many number of strings it can have. It's a length. And then status value, yeah, it don't have any error, and it has 1,590 members, out of which it is showing top 20. Let me go to this category, and here we can easily predict. Okay, there are only 3 categories in this field, right? And it has got column width as well. It's showing 15 characters max. Okay, and for pattern it's showing it does not have any nulls. Okay, so sometimes it shows all the information clear cut, sometimes it won't show. It is better to have your profiling tool and profile all these columns. Okay. Okay, and then let me go back to our syllabus. Okay, so number one, they are talking about rename. We have seen how to rename the field, assign an alias to the data value we have seen, and then assign a geographical role to a data field we have seen, and for shown how to change the data type, etc. Change the default properties for the data field. Okay, so default properties won't be available here, but you go into the sheet under data pane, right? For example, we take profit. Okay, so right click, you will be having the default properties. So whenever it comes to default properties, right? So once you assign the default properties, let's say if you are going to use this field more than 10 times in this worksheet, okay, whenever I drag and drop, it should comma separate by the tens, and it should have two digits after the period, and it should be in this format, so that I need not to go ahead and change each and every time. So once I define it, it will carry forward up in all the places. In the 11th place, if you want to change, there you can manually override the properties in that particular place. And for example, in the default properties, we have comments. Here I can type in the comments by adding the description to this field, right? For example, this field shows the profit. So whenever I hover this field, it will show this field shows the profit, so that I need not to go back to the DBA and ask what this field is, or I need not to go back to the document and refer what this field is. Okay, it's very, very handy, and it's one of the very good practice we follow in the production systems. And then next one, color. Right? So whenever I choose this field and put in the color palette, what color it has to pick by default. For example, let's say I'm giving green and this. Whenever I pick, it automatically picks this color. If you are going to use this in 10 different places, once you set this palette, it is not going to change throughout the project. Right? And then the next one is number format. We have talked about this. For example, the standard number format or custom. Once I set the number of decimals as 4, whenever I'm bringing this profit inside, system is too slow today. It is all the time going to have the 4 digits, right? And then another default property all about the aggregation. Whenever you are bringing and putting it here, whether it should calculate the sum, count, etc., and the total using what. Definitely we can override this, but whenever you are setting these default properties, it becomes very handy and easy. But I said about this comments, production system, we add this description. Let me go back. Okay, so we talked about so in this session, we have covered on connecting and preparing the data. There are a lot of features apart from this. There is a Tableau desktop specialist certification. I'm limiting the scope to the syllabus. If you have any clarification on this topic, or you feel any of the topics need more information, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, click on like button, and I will see you all with the next topic, exploring and analyzing data, in the next session. Stay tuned. Thank you.